hit the comments and it's all like, is this YouTube Premium?
What the hell?
What the hell, man?
Okay. Wait, what episode is this?
Jeez. It's 14? Could it be? I think it's 14.
It is indeed 14. Last week we talked about language learning. This week entire switch up. We mentioned at the end of last episode that we both watched Marty Supreme together. Actually, we watched Marty Supreme while we were both at home.
Yep.
And I think we felt somewhat similarly about it. And
Which
I guess
was different to at least one person that we were watching with.
It's true. We weren't. I wouldn't say like we thought it was a bad movie. I don't think either of us thought it was a bad movie. I just think we didn't vibe with it very much. I don't know if that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I left. I was very excited for it. There was a lot of hype around it. I would say I definitely left disappointed.
Yeah. It was. It was just the whole like all the marketing. Timothy Chalamet. The trailers, also just marketing it as a ping pong movie when like, I get it. You don't have to make it about ping pong, but I think I was expecting a little more ping pong.
For sure. I was expecting more
you.
ping pong scenes. I was expecting the orange to have relevance in the movie.
The orange ball,
didn't.
yeah.
No relevance in the movie. So what's our strategy for we're just going full spoilers in this is our strategy, surely.
I think we should just go full spoilers. I mean, if you haven't already watched it, go ahead and watch it. It's kind of long. But I think it's worth a watch,
for the culture.
If you're just like
it's worth a
movies
watch.
A lot. Yeah, and like it's well shot, like it looks really good. Like Timothy Chalamet, he's very good in it, and the acting's just all around pretty good, except for what's that guy, Kevin O'Leary. He's just himself. That's just Kevin O'Leary. But everyone else, most other people are like quite good in it, even like Tyler the Creator and all that kind of stuff. And there are like some very like there are a lot of like really interesting moments, and it's a surprising watch, I would say. But yeah, I think that's where the end of most of my praises is, because I definitely had a lot more problems than I did like positive things.
Yeah, I agree on the positives. It was, from a cinematic point of view, very good. It was very well put together. Things flowed nicely. I feel like the music was good. I'm not really recalling specifically, but I feel like the soundtrack at least was fitting to the movie. It was a well-made movie, let's say.
Yeah.
I think both of our issues came more with the plot line, specifically.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where to start. I think to give a brief, should we give a brief summary of the movie?
Yeah, let's do a brief overview also for ourselves, since it's been a little while.
I know, yeah,
Just
I'm needing a refresher too.
General rundown. So
yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, so it starts, right? And he has, or I guess he hasn't taken the money yet, but he's about to take money from the place of where he works, right?
Right. Withdraw money. That was owed to him. He worked for it. Yeah.
But like they weren't giving it to him, so he technically had to steal it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or was it all his money, or maybe it was like he was like gonna work for it? I don't remember specifically. But point being, they didn't want to give him the money.
Yeah, it was illegal.
And he stole it.
And then he flies to, the UK or wherever it was. Was it
Yeah,
UK?
the motive of the money being to participate in the World Championships of ping pong, which he had been training at like a little local place in New York. He's the king of the facility. He wants to go to the World Championships. World Championships are having, I think it was in London, I want to say.
Yeah.
He's from New York, I'm sure I mentioned probably. And then
I think New York, yeah.
And so it's a big trip, expensive trip, but he has big aspirations. He's trying to be world champ. He's in the news. I think he had already been in the news at that point to be like an up-and-comer, trying to make it out. And then yes, he gets to London, and you can take it back.
Yeah, he was like a somewhat big deal, like, but in like a ping pong kind of way. So like,
Right, in a
you
niche
know,
sport.
he
kinda
wasn't
way.
he wasn't like balling, which I think is a problem for him, just like emotionally.
Right, he wants to be.
The fact that he's not balling, yeah.
He wants to be tough. Is the
Yeah,
overarching.
so this is like
motivation.
this is
for
like
his
the
life.
driving motivation, and also in the movie, it's what drives the plot forward. It's like he really wants to be
The next big
recognized
thing.
as super big. He wants maybe not. I don't know if he's like the best, like, what's it called, like, he's not like marketing ping pong as this kind of thing, but I guess he did have that whole orange ball thing, which is supposedly supposed to help spread ping pong, make the game a little more fair if someone's wearing a white shirt or whatever. But yeah, and then it's just like, I guess, honestly, okay, so the first part of this movie was like very good, because the first part of this movie is what I was expecting, right? So he like takes the money, it's like kind of thriller. He goes to the UK and he's doing ping pong, and like that's cool, yeah, right? Like the ping pong game was like fun to watch in my opinion.
I agree, and even other, like, the emerging plot lines in that part of the movie, I think are like cool and interesting, or at least like entertaining, I should say. Like, he has to get his money, he has to get on the plane, like, you're like, is he gonna do it? He gets on the plane, he gets to London, he's acting like a big shot in London, he's like sneaks his way into the nicer hotel.
Yep.
He's making moves on this girl who has the rich husband. Like, he's making things happen, and it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
He competes in the ping pong tournament. It's tough, and he's cleaning up. He's doing well. Like, he's not like, it's not like, I was a little fearful. I don't know what I expected. I thought maybe in the first tournament or something, he was gonna get like cooked, send him back, have a training arc, and then come back later. That was kind of my expectation for this movie.
Yeah.
But which is somewhat true. He loses ultimately in the first tournament, but in the final,
Japanese guy.
To a Japanese guy in the final.
Japanese
guy. He did very well. He beat everybody else in entertaining fashion. He was true to his name. He was an entertainer. He does well, but ultimately he loses, and he has to come back home empty-handed.
Right, and then like, I think this is really when the movie starts being like just a train wreck for him,
Right.
mainly. Right. And I think that's where I was, and this is the sort of the first sign of this happening. Is just everything's gonna go bad in his life, and I mean, I could have seen this coming just based on the fact that he stole the money. Like, I knew that there were gonna be some repercussions for it, but then it's what he does after that, and after, like, being confronted about stealing the money and having to evade the police, that really like sort of digs him further and further into the hole. Because he got home, and then his boss or someone was there, and they had a police officer intimidate him, and then he had to escape, and he ran away.
Right.
And then while he's running away, he goes to see this girl who is a very big part of the movie, but it's his childhood friend, and she's like, it's like hard for me to describe like what she really is to him at this moment, and she says a lot of things about him and to him that he just flat out denies, and it's hard to tell, is he just lying because he just doesn't want to deal with it, or is she lying because she's a little crazy?
Right. Definitely a little bit of both. I mean, I think that, so basically how I think about this movie is we have Arc 1 that we just described. Arc 2, he arrives back in New York. He needs to basically re-lock in for the next World Championships is the end goal. But in the meantime, he has a lot of things to deal with. Namely his money problem, and then new things that arise. Like Nico said, the police come, he runs away, runs into this girl. The girl is, at that time, just like, they kind of had a thing, but he is not one to take responsibility for anything or anyone, really. So he's just like, all right. And he's kind of like I think another thing is he kind of has thought he like moved on to bigger and better things. At this point he already got with this like rich lady, and like this is his like girl from back when he was in the cut. And so he's like, all right, like, like I made it out, like we don't have to worry about it
wish you
anymore.
don't.
And she has a man, which is another detail. She does have a man at this time. But yeah, so he gets chased down. Subsequently, they go and try and make more money, him and Tyler, the creator, basically a cab driver. They like hustle a bunch of people for money with ping pong, but kind of a complicated storyline. Hustle them, get in a bunch of trouble, cause a ton of damage to everything. He's causing damage to his friend's car. Tyler, the creator's a taxi driver, ruins his taxi, doesn't really care. Which, this is his friend's taxi. That's his livelihood. Doesn't really care. Move on. There's a dog at some stage that they encounter. The dog runs. They take ownership of the dog. He takes the dog to bring it to the vet. He's supposed to bring the dog to the vet. He just leaves the dog and does not bring it to the vet. Which isn't like this. The dog's owner had his arm crushed by Timothy Chalamet, who fell through the roof in a bathtub. I mean, it sounds chaotic. It is chaotic. This is kind of how the movie goes. And falls to the room, crashes, hits this guy's arm. The guy is bleeding. The dog is injured as well. The guy's like in his like dying wish is like, here's some money, take the dog to the vet. He just takes the money and leaves the dog on the street.
Basically.
Then he goes and hustles the people for money, comes back. Later, there's a reward for the dog, and then he wants to find the dog again to get the reward for the dog that he lost in the first place and took the money he was supposed to bring it to the vet with. The girl, her involvement becomes that she is pregnant. I might be skipping a few things. Were there any plot lines in between there? I don't know. Not really.
I mean, I think...
There's the dog guy. There's the arc where they
dog
steal the
guy.
money.
There's
with the ping pong scheme.
Yeah, with Tyler the creator. Yeah.
Yeah, with Tyler the creator. Maybe the play is that in there somewhere where he's at the.
Well, they're
at the play again.
I don't think that's quite. Yeah, I think because first they're staying with Marty's quote unquote like friend at this point, or they try to go into his house basically, right? And that's where
who he also is hustling basically, and like kind of causing a ruckus. And not hustling him in a major way, but he's like kind of causing problems, and he always like just convinces this guy who's kind of a pushover, like, hey, just help me out this time.
Right, and then so there's this thing where the reason why the girl, I forget her name, is with Marty is because she tells him that she got beat up by her husband. Yeah, her husband. Right? And then after going through this whole like dog kind of thing, I think they already did all of that with the farmer who was like shooting at them through the car, and the car got all cooked because obviously got shot at with a shotgun.
That's another car that they've ruined. That's not even the taxi for reference.
This
is the friend who's letting them stay, who it's not even his car, it's his dad's car.
It's his dad's car, yeah.
Which is a very nice car. They borrow it to go get the dog that they had lost.
Yeah.
The dog had been taken in by a crazy farmer. Because
it was worth money now, yeah.
Yeah, the dog had been taken in by a crazy farmer. The farmer shoots at them. They drive through a cornfield to avoid him. They ruin the car. Yeah. And at this point, I think it's then that it's revealed that the girl was faking that she was beat. Mm-hmm. She actually just had makeup on because she really is in love with Marty, basically, or obsessed with him, or, has some attachment to him, if you will.
Yeah. And then Marty, like, just fucking leaves her.
Right, and then Marty leaves, he goes, and then another plot line, there's this rich wife, gets back, finds the rich wife, gets back with the rich wife again, tries to steal her necklace. The necklace is prop jewelry because she was doing an acting job. He tries to sell the necklace, finds out it's prop jewelry, and then comes back to then be like, hey, look, I took this off you, but I couldn't bring myself to sell it, to try and make himself seem like a good guy. When he did try to sell it, he just found out it was prop jewelry, and she's like, it's prop jewelry, and he's like, what? Then asks her for subsequent favors. Wants more money from this lady. She has a terrible day. She's at one point crying, and he is still trying to get like this necklace that she said she might give him.
Yeah, he really wants her. Yeah.
Within the dog arc, the owner, the girl somehow tries to fake, or the girl tries to fake that they have captured this dog and give it to the owner. The owner sees through it, captures the girl, contacts Marty. They all meet up. And at this point, the girl is pregnant, which is another plot detail.
Right.
They don't know who the father is. Could be Marty, could be her husband, who maybe she doesn't have a good relationship with, it seems, but maybe didn't beat her. And then they go to the dog owner place, or to the place where the dog has been stolen by this crazy farmer, and people are getting shot everywhere. People are dying, like literally dying. And the girl is getting shot at. She's pregnant with a child that may or may not be Marty's child. And she has shrapnel in her. She's shot, basically. And the dog owner, the real dog owner, had money in the breast pocket of his vest to give to Marty should he return the dog. Yeah. Marty is, instead of driving off with the girl who's pregnant and shot, is running up to the porch to grab the money off the inside of the jacket. And then he ultimately gets that money and ends up getting basically harassed by the rich husband for a ride to Japan, which is where the next World Championships are. But so that's our next arc.
I do think there is like that whole plot point with the Japan thing. It starts a lot earlier, even, where like the rich guy, Kevin O'Leary, whatever, he says, so like you're gonna play a exhibition against the Japanese guy, right? Like in order to sell pens, basically. But Marty's like, nah, like I'm not gonna do that. Like,
exhibition,
I'm
as in Marty loses.
Athlete.
Exhibition, as in Marty loses on purpose.
Yeah, and Marty's like, I'm a real athlete. I'm not gonna do that. But the whole deal is like he's gonna get a free flight to Japan, basically, and be able to do the World Championships. And this is before a lot of the really crazy stuff even happens. So there's a certain scene at one point where Marty's begging the rich guy to let him come to Japan still, but it's, the time has passed and he's kind of shooed off until it was after the whole necklace thing with the rich wife, which is the rich guy's husband, or the rich guy's wife. She and him are like having sex in the park, and that's why he loses the necklace that she actually brought for him. Like, he got the necklace, he got what he wanted, but then the police officers catch them having sex in the park, because of course they're having sex in the park, and then and then he has no more necklace, and so he's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna go back to the Kevin O'Leary and be like, please let me go to Japan with you. And then the guy's like, all right, fine, I'll bring you to Japan, but I'll just spank you with this ping pong paddle like 50 times. Right. So like this is like that, so that whole storyline happened as well, but like, which crazy. This part of the movie, for the record, is the bulk of the movie. So it's hard to encapsulate, like, this early section of the movie is pretty fast. He's getting his money to go to London. He goes to London, he plays, he loses, he comes back. Enter Arc 2 of the movie, which spans all the way from then until Japan. Arc 2 is basically, he is in trouble from losing his money. Kevin O'Leary offers to take him to Japan, do this exhibition. He says no because he's too big for his britches. He gets in more and more trouble. He ruins the livelihood and lives of many people around him. His family, basically, this girl who relies on him, his friend, basically just decision after decision is just dragging down all the people in his life and causing problems, taking on risks for other people. Just overall, terrible things happening. Really culminating with him risking a pregnant lady's wife to get more money out of a dead man's jacket for a ping pong game. Yeah. All for him to then get spanked and just beg the rich guy again to go. So it was all for naught. It's basically what that translates to. He ruins everything for nothing. And this is probably an hour, at least an hour and a half. Maybe, these things just maybe longer. Yeah, an hour
Right,
and a half.
probably
easily.
an hour and a half. That it's just chaos, wrong decision after wrong decision, terrible thing after terrible thing, until he finally ends up getting on his flight to Japan to play his exhibition match.
Although he goes to Japan, he took his friend to the hospital after she got shot, and then he goes to Japan. So she's just in the hospital.
Right. She's in the hospital, probably unconscious, getting shrapnel
Yeah.
pulled out of her. And he is going to his exhibition match in Japan. Also, for the record, the exhibition match is once again an exhibition match. What he really wants is the World Championships in Japan. The World Championships he's been banned from for his antics at the prior World Championships. But he's been banned from the World Championships. No, I think he did know because he received the invoice about the hotel thing. So he goes to Japan,
but then knowing he thought he could go.
But he thought that he could finesse his way, basically. It's the story of his life is that he thinks he can finesse everything. And in reality, he can't. And it ends up causing horrible problems every time. So he thinks he can go to Japan, play his exhibition. He thinks maybe, if I prove myself in this exhibition against the best guy in the world, then surely they're going to have to let me into the World Championships. And so he goes and arrives at the exhibition. I don't know if you want to take the exhibition.
Yeah, I mean, so he's at the exhibition, and the whole plan is just, you're going to lose the exhibition. And then there's this whole, theatrical kind of thing where the loser of the exhibition is going to have to kiss a pig, and you have, a Japanese audience, as well as, a couple of, American GIs, basically, soldiers who are watching. So you have kind of a split kind of crowd, but most of them are Japanese, so they really want to see their hometown hero win, because at this point it's post World War II, and Japan's coming out of a big struggle, and so I guess in the historical context, having this ping pong player from Japan is really big for Japan, and that's being taken advantage of by the rich guy who wants to sell his pens. But it basically just goes as planned, but then Marty is not happy with what happened. He really wants to make sure that he plays a more fair match, especially since he's been told now he didn't know before, or I guess he thought he could just do the World Championships, but now he's been told that you're not going to get to play in the championships, and so really this exhibition match is the only chance he really has to show how good he is. And so, he plays again. Yeah,
he basically announces, which is another part of his deal. Basically, in this exhibition, act like you lose, whatever. Make a big scene out of it if you want, but obviously don't realize it's an exhibition. Instead, he loses, he decides he can't do that, and he says, it was all fake. This was a fake match. It was a setup. And then he asks the Japanese guy, do you want to do it for real? Let's play for real. And so they play for real. And he does well.
He does do well. Yeah.
I'm honestly forgetting what is the outcome of that match. It's honestly insignificant in my mind. Does he win?
He does win. Yeah.
He wins. He ultimately wins this match. And then he's and also as part of his character to be a bad sport, basically. He's kind of a better sport after winning, as all people are. And so he wins this match, and at this point he's fully accepted that he's not going to play in the World Championships. And he kind of has this aha moment, if you will, and decides, I gotta leave. I have this girl back home who's pregnant with maybe my child. And he just hops on the next military flight somehow. Through his military viewers,
he won the game. Yeah.
And then goes straight back to New York and arrives at the hospital to support this girl. Cue the end of the movie.
Yeah, end of the movie, he's looking at the child who got born.
Right. The child is born.
He starts crying. That's the end of the movie.
He starts crying. It's the end of the movie. Open to your interpretation what happens after that, I suppose. So
and it's just oh my god.
It's a lot. I mean, I think probably from my commentary you can tell where I take issue with this movie. The whole second arc is too much. I think it's too many bad things. It's too chaotic. It's a little bit just depressing and frustrating to watch. It's just this guy who ruins everybody else's lives. Really, like in major ways, in significant ways. He really ruins things in pursuit of this ping pong thing, which he doesn't even really have any concept of how he's going to achieve it. He just has this fundamental internal belief, once again, that it's all going to work out because he can make things work out, even though he doesn't really have that much to back that up with. Right. I guess he's made it to this point. I guess he made it to London. I guess he got with this rich girl, maybe. Those are his accolades, if you will. But none of them came without consequences, right? It's not like he really, I feel like to truly finesse something is to do it and get away scot-free. But he's doing it and incurring $20,000 debts and risking people's lives, which is like, we could all do crazy things if we just didn't care what the consequences were for other people. And so, I don't know. It's too much, I think. In my opinion, the whole second arc is too much. It's too many negative things. It's frustrating to watch in many ways. And then we finally get to Japan, and it's basically him. He's done all this for this game. He wins not even really in a formal setting. It's not like he's become the world champion. He has beat this guy, but it's like, there's some element of random chance there. The guy
wearing
wasn't
white
expecting
shirts.
it. Oh, yes. This, too, is supremely, if you will, frustrating. This whole plot point that in the marketing for this movie, I don't know who's seen, but there's like this whole like making a big deal out of the orange, ping pong orange, which is a thing in modern day. So you think like, okay, maybe this is the origin stories of how it became a thing. He has this idea partway through the movie, pretty early, to have orange ping pong balls because lots of people are wearing white shirts and it's hard to see a white ball on a white shirt. We arrive to this final scene in the movie, which you think it's pretty significant. They're wearing white shirts, and you imagine maybe he's going to get out his orange ping pong ball, and it's going to be a little close the loop. There's no orange ping pong ball. They just play the whole thing with the white shirt. The orange ping pong balls never came up again. They're just treated as a failure. So I guess it's symbolic of his career in many ways. Everything goes wrong. He doesn't get into world championships. He flies home to kind of take responsibility, but it's like also way too little too late type of thing. You can't just be like, all right, like now that I won my exhibition match, I'm going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go home and call it a day. Like, no, like you ruined everyone's lives. You know what I mean? Like this is a serious offense. You really ruined a lot of lives. And now you're just like, now that I won the exhibition, I'll just go home and live my life. At the same time, it's like, it almost feels like, I don't know. Some people think that maybe he continues to play ping pong after in a serious way. I don't know. To be honest, I feel like maybe not. Like, I don't know how to interpret it. Either way, it's not really good. It's like either he sacrificed everything for the sport and then quits the sport, which is at the worst, I guess. It's like, it was all for naught completely. Or he continues to sacrifice things for the sport. I guess the best case scenario would be that he becomes a better person and continues the sport and finds some balance. I don't know. Point being, it's kind of a messy, open-ended, and somewhat still sad ending. So for me, it's just all tied together, this messy plot line with very little resolution, lots of problems that happen throughout the movie, and nothing to tie it back together, no loop to close, I like happy endings. I'll say it straight. I'm a happy ending fan. It's a movie.
Yeah.
We get to make it up. It's fake. Like, this is very loosely based on a guy, but extremely loosely. I think just in the fact that he's, like, eccentric and a ping pong player. And so it's like, we get to make these things up, right? And so why would we have a messy, confusing ending? Beats me. I like happy endings. I like sad movies with happy endings. But I like when they tie together to have something that makes me feel I get to walk away from the movie. This isn't a series. This is it. It's a one time, and you don't tie up the loose ends. You don't have any resolution. To me, it just felt like too much. It was too much for me to really walk away feeling fulfilled or happy with the thing that I just watched. Like we touched on in the beginning, the movie's shot well. Those sorts of things are done well. The acting is very good. but the plot is just a mess and just depressing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know your
No,
thoughts.
I totally agree. I mean, I think what you said about the whole, it's based loosely off the real guy, and I think I didn't know to what extent it was based off him, and so after the movie was done, I was like, you know what, like if it's taking some real life things that happened and like just trying to communicate that in a cinematic way, like I get it. However, the real story of the guy is not even close to what happened in the movie. Like, yeah, like the guy was a little weird, and I think there was like one time he like competed against some guy in Japan, but it wasn't this whole kind of like there wasn't this whole like extreme struggle and like causing a rampage in New York in order to go do ping pong. And so it just I just think with when you think about the movie in that sense, where it's like, yeah, this is not a real thing. They could have told any story that they really wanted to. I just think a lot of what happens in the movie doesn't really need to happen, and I don't like being too sensitive when it comes to movies, but it really does come across as sort of being in the very like grind set alpha male, extreme, like you need to be extremely ambitious in order to succeed, and maybe it wasn't intended to be that, but it does come across like that, and it's also like been taken up by those kinds of people at the same time, so it does appeal to that kind of audience. And so I just think if you're like trying to do an interesting character study, I do think an argument I see is that it's a character study. You don't have to enjoy the character that you're watching on screen. That's like totally fair. I just think that I just don't think it's a good character.
Right. Yeah. It's not just his morality that bothers me, I guess. I mean, in many ways, I guess it is. That might be the primary thing, but it's just like it's more just the events throughout the movie just accumulating. I think in this way that it just makes it feel like they're just throwing it. To me, it just felt like, let's think of another thing that could go wrong. You have to imagine like who are the people behind this.
Yeah.
It's literally some person writing the story and being like, let's think of another plot line that he could just absolutely ruin something. And to me, like that's what it felt like. It was just like they were just throwing in more and more things for him to ruin, and it was almost like they weren't even being like reasonable or realistic in like the story. Like you said, we take it to such extreme. People are dying, getting shot with a gun, dying on a porch for this guy for ping pong, and it's like you took it too far. You like almost made it. You made it an unbelievable storyline. Like you genuinely made this something I can't believe would actually happen in real life. And it's like, to me, that kind of, I feel like that was kind of the allure of the movie, is like, this is kind of like maybe it's not a true story, but it's something that could happen. It's something that's within reason. But it ended up being something that almost wasn't within reason, which I think bothered me a little bit. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I think that's what it was to me. It just felt like, from a writing perspective, it was just doing too much.
It was very masturbatory in a way. It really wasn't like, it kind of just, it knew what it wanted to be, it seems, and then it just kept doing that, and it didn't think like, oh, like, is this like how I should be telling a story? Like, is this what we, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't think that art really needs to like be entirely like within, it doesn't have to appeal to me in order to be good art, but just given that we're like reviewing this, it's just, and it's really hard for me to like accept, or not accept, but just understand why this is so like universally loved. Like, I don't understand.
It's perplexing.
Why? How could you watch this in 2026 and be like, wow, like this was incredible? And maybe it's about like where I am in my life at the moment, and you see this guy, he has a lot of opportunities. Let's be honest. He gets a lot of things handed to him, and he kind of just throws it away, like so many times. And like maybe it's because I'm sort of in those positions where it's like, oh, like I would like to have an X opportunity or whatever. But I don't know. Like maybe that's at the core of what really bothers me with the plot and sort of what happens, because I just think he's just really bad at like planning his future out. But I don't know. I do think there's more to it than just like my personal gripes with it.
Yeah, no, I think, like you said too, it's like, it's kind of in this sort of like alpha grind set thing. It's just like a little bit like infuriatingly so. Like it feels like those people that have adopted it as this like thing, in some ways like admire it or like build it up because it ends up being a failure. It's like he's so tough for just like not caring at all whatsoever and just doing whatever he wanted to do no matter the outcome. And to me it just feels like a very like we're trying to, I don't know, I guess like you don't always have to send, it's not like I'm saying you always have to like build some like constructive message out of a piece of media. Like you don't have to come away with a good lesson. Like I think it would be, maybe the lesson is that, it simultaneously could be a bad lesson if he really jeopardizes a lot of things and then ends up succeeding in the end. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, it felt like it somehow missed like even that, like it missed even like making a point out of people get too self-involved and that causes problems. Like I don't even know, like that you can interpret it that way, definitely, but like my immediate reaction to the movie was not even that. Like not even that it was like some sort of like awareness like piece about like a warning against becoming self-absorbed or anything like that. Like I didn't even take that out of it, even though I feel like you could have spun it in a way that kind of at least made it more catered towards that, which maybe in some ways productive. But like,
I think, have you watched Whiplash? Like I think Whiplash is like a good example of that.
Right.
I don't know if you watched that.
I have watched it, but I don't completely remember
yeah
outcome. It was a long time ago. But he not succeed in the end, basically.
I mean, he does succeed, but it's kind of like a at what cost kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Exactly. I feel like, and in some ways that's the same thing here. Like in some ways he does succeed, right? He wins the game at the end of the day. Is it the world championship? No, but does he win the game? Yes. But it's just like that wasn't what I took out of it. You know what I mean? I just didn't walk away from it with some like message. Like it just felt like a jumble of hard to watch scenes. I didn't walk away with any sort of message at all, to be honest.
No, and I think that with most media and art itself, I mean, I'm sure there's something that the director is trying to say. Like I'm sure there is, but I was also like lost in the sauce. Like it did not reach me, and then that at the end of the day kind of just really like sours the whole experience, because maybe we're not the right audience for it, or we missed something. But we did miss the first 5 minutes of the movie, so I don't know. Like,
yeah, maybe something crazy happened.
Maybe it was there that the whole thing was everything would make sense. But it just it really does suck to like sit through something for however 160 or 70 minutes and then just like be done and be like, wow, like I didn't really get anything out of that.
Right.
So
I just don't. I can't say I walked away having gained anything really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's our Marty Supreme review.
Our review was just like the movie, very
right.
organized.
Very chaotic. Hopefully with less negative repercussions on people's lives.
True.
But yeah, I mean, watch at your own risk, I suppose. At that, if you've decided to listen without having watched the movie before.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone would want to watch it after our.
Yeah, I know.
Review,
but I don't know. I'm curious. I really don't understand. Like we said, I really don't understand the perspective that this is some masterpiece, and so I am curious why people think it is that, basically.
True. If you really like it, let us know why. I want to
know.
I actually have no idea why.
Please.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. See ya.
See ya.